Emotional characteristics of gifted children. Gifted children tend to experience really deep and intense emotions. They make them experience the world in a different way. Gifted children tend to learn incredibly quickly. However, not everything is simple for them. Although they may make faster progress than their peers, they often need support to manage their emotions and deal with certain social situations. Moreover, the complexity of their development is seen not only in their intellect, but also in their emotional world. E.g., they often have to face situations in the social sphere which are in line with their academic level, but which they are not emotionally prepared to handle. Their vital intensity is thus not characterized by the fact that they feel more than others, but by the special way in which they experience the world, as more alive, penetrating, intense and complex. Gifted children. These children are not all the same. Each one of them has their own qualities that make them a special individual. That said, there are several traits that they have in common, even if they don't all show them in the same area. Here are some of them according to Clark, 2008. Cognitive traits. Great abstraction ability. Interest in problem solving. Avid reading habits. Large vocabulary. Intellectual curiosity. Critical thinking, skepticism and self-criticism. Goal-directed behavior. Ability to study independently. Many interests and abilities. Creative features. Creativity and ingenuity. Good sense of humor. Good imagination. Open to stimuli. Intuition. Flexibility. Self-acceptance and disregard of social norms. Commitment to self-selected work. Emotional traits. Unusual emotional depth and intensity. Sensitivity or empathy for the feelings of others. High expectations for oneself and others. Greater self-awareness. Need for emotional support. Need for coherence between abstract values and personal actions. Advanced level of moral judgment. Idealism and sense of justice. Behavioral traits in gifted children. Spontaneity. Enthusiasm. Focused on their passions. Resistance to changing activities when they are preoccupied with their own interests. Extremely energetic. Only needs a little sleep or time to relax. Constantly asking questions. Insatiable curiosity. Impulsive, anxious and energetic. Determination in important areas. High level of frustration. Unstable temperament, especially regarding perception of failure. Now that you have a general idea of the characteristic features that can identify a gifted child, we will now focus in depth on their emotional dimensions. The emotional dimension of gifted children. Many people tend to think that gifted children are little introverts with a tendency to isolate themselves. They may also see them as quite neurotic and unfriendly, etc. However, this is nothing more than stereotypes. Furthermore, some studies claim that there are a number of prejudices about giftedness that are socially widespread and lead people to believe that this type of child has difficulties socially and emotionally. Gifted children are not necessarily withdrawn as people often tend to believe. They also do not have pronounced problems relating to others or are particularly anxious, depressed or suicidal. In fact, gifted individuals may be less likely to experience depression, anxiety or suicide. Rees and Reen 2004, Martin et al. 2010, Eklund et al. 2015. Furthermore, they can exhibit the same level of well-being and stress as average people. Likewise, They can be as agreeable and conscientious and possess social skills as good as anyone of average intellectual ability. Boardston, 2016. However, not all gifted children function well in the emotional and social dimensions, just as not all average people know intellectually how to handle their emotions. What we want to emphasize is that not all gifted children experience emotional and social problems, as people often tend to believe. When we researched the emotional problems that gifted children can have, we found a number of studies that shed light on the subject. However, these results cannot be generalized. This is because, as mentioned, not all gifted children are the same. What does the research suggest? The research on gifted children produced the following results. Gifted children are more emotionally and physiologically sensitive to their environment. Gifted children, ages 9 to 15, with low self-esteem are vulnerable to emotional imbalance. Boys experience more behavioral and emotional problems than girls. Gifted children have a lower level of self-disclosure/openness and self-concept. Furthermore, their level of empathy and social skills decrease as they age. Gifted students have higher negative moods. They are reflected in lower levels of subjective well-being and emotional intelligence than in non-gifted students. Gifted children tend to score high on worry, hypersensitivity, social concerns, and perfectionism. Gifted children scored higher in depression to describe themselves as more inattentive and with low social functionality. Furthermore, they had a worse perception of their physical health. As you can see, there are no fixed rules that can be applied to gifted children. Some studies provide results compatible with the hypothesis of a greater vulnerability to anxiety and mood disorders. On the other hand, others offer data that reject this hypothesis. Furthermore, some claim that gifted children may experience relationship problems, while others claim the opposite. Therefore, these studies allow us to confirm that gifted children may or may not experience emotional problems just like non-gifted children. You must always remember that everyone is not the same. Some of us are e.g. stronger in certain emotional traits than others. After all, we are all different.